He says, I own a hotel about 20 minutes from here, and I want to retire and go to Florida. He says, if you can come up with the first mortgage, I'll hold back the second mortgage, which means no money down. Right? I'll teach you how to run it.
Wow.
And you pay off me in the first mortgage from the rents and send them to me in Florida. So that's the first thing, is give before you get. That's the first lesson here.
When most people finish college or finish school, they're desperate to find a job. They're writing hundreds of applications. They're working their resume. They're meeting resume experts. They're doing all of that. But there are some people who don't care, who could care less about what's a resume. What's a resume anyway? Today, we are so fortunate to have one of the top 4 internet marketing gurus in the world. Mr. Tom Antion is visiting the Story Warrior Fireside Chat, and I am so delighted to have him here because he's going to expose some of the dirty little secrets that no other guru wants to share because they want to keep the money close to them. But he has a generous heart, and he has a heart of the consumer. So, Mr. Antion, thank you, Tom, for coming to expose. And I see you dressed like a spaceman coming straight from space. Want to expose all these secrets, these dirty secrets that people are looking for to make some money online. Is it real? Is there money online?
Well, I'm going to call them clean secrets, Gideon, because
okay, clean secrets.
Yeah, because they're kind of right in front of your face. It's just nobody taught you these things. And you can be really building a lot of internet related revenue streams for yourself. Even if you're at a full-time job or you're doing whatever you're doing, you don't have to drop everything and cross your fingers and risk your whole financial future to do a lot of these things. I mean, I've been doing this now, I think it's 31 years straight since the commercial internet started in 1994.
Wow.
And you know my history. I became a multimillionaire about 25 years ago doing this, and never had a job. My podcast is called Screw the Commute because I never had a job.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, and you may not even know this about me, I never had a big launch, never had a big, hoopla of anything. Yeah. It's all been little things that kept adding up over time. I'm kind of against launches a little bit in that it's a flash in the pan, I call it. What happens after you do this big rollout? You spend months and months doing it, and then nothing.
Yes.
So I like things that keep paying off over and over and over and over again. So I brought a lot of things to tell folks today. One of which is going to be how to make your hobbies tax deductible, make money, and do stuff you love. I'm going to show you how you can create an online income generator in 1 hour or less.
What?
And yeah. And how many of them don't even require a website. So I got a lot of stuff for everybody today.
This is going to be one of the most exciting ones. I've been looking forward to it. I first met you thanks to your incredible online visibility. Without that, I would not have met you. I met you around 2004 or so, 2003. Back then, I lived in Singapore. And then finally, I met you in person. By the time you were coming, I'd already known a lot about you. And I think it's thanks to the fact that you have understood how to saturate the cyberspace with information about yourself. So maybe we can start by you telling us, why did you get started with the internet when most other people were looking for traditional jobs?
Well, again, I never had a job. So when I prior to the internet coming around in 1994, a commercial internet where people like us could sell on it. I was a professional speaker, just like you. I was traveling all over the world doing stuff, and I was creating products, information products, they're called.
Okay.
In the forms of cassettes and in the old days, VHS tapes, and then DVDs, and then CDs, and now it's mostly streaming and stuff.
Yes.
But it was hard enough to sell my stuff across the street, let alone around the world. And so when I heard about this commercial internet coming along, I said, I'm going to figure this out. I like this idea. And, because I had already been on loads of airplanes like you, traveled all over the world, and it's not getting any easier. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And so when it came around, I said, I'm going to figure this out. And I went 2 years, didn't make a nickel. Was doing it on the side, trying to figure stuff out. It was Wild West back there where nobody knew what was going on. And then I finally got some tutoring by a guy named Corey Rudel. And he was the 31-year-old, we call him grandfather of internet marketing for small business. He was making $5 million a year in those days from his apartment in his complex.
Yes.
And so I got good training. And then as soon as I got good training, I started making money. It wasn't like it is now, but it was $50 a week. I mean, after going 2 years making nothing, $50 is like, yeah. And then it was 100, then it was 500, then it was 1,000, and then it's not uncommon for $30,000 weeks now.
Yes.
So it builds over time, but I never had, like I said, a big launch. So the reason I got into it was because I wanted to sell my knowledge around the world, and this was the mechanism.
Wow, that is necessity. They say is the mother of invention. So you invented that because of a real need as an information marketer, and you've always had a fine eye for what is going to work. Or maybe that's how we see it. We don't know how much.
How you see it.
Experimentation. How much experimentation you do in the wheat. I mean, you did that for 2 years in the trenches. So, so can I assume that it is not just a fine eye for what is cool or what is going to work, but a lot of experimentation and a lot of hard work? Maybe talk to us about that.
Yeah, so you can assume, some of that is true in little pieces, but there's one key thing that, and it's the #1 episode of my podcast. We've done 960 some episodes so far. And 5 years ago when I started, the #1 episode was based on the #1 mistake that people that want to do this make. And it's the answer to your question. It's called keyword research. So I don't think up anything new. I'm not smart enough to think up brand new concepts and everything. All right. Another famous marketer that's been around almost as long as me, he said, you don't try to build traffic to your website. He said, you go where the traffic is and stand in front of it. Okay.
Wow.
And so the way you find out where is the traffic, or the way you test, or what you called experiment, I don't experiment at all until I have proven that there's a demand with keyword research. There's tools online, many free, there's some paid. I don't even bother with the paid ones because you can do so much with the free ones. Like Google Keyword Planner is totally free. And what you do is when you get an idea, and have you ever heard the abbreviation CSI?
Yes, I've heard that.
TV show.
TV
Crime
show.
Scene Investigation.
Miami or something,
Yeah, Miami, different cities. But CSI is different to me. CSI stands for crappy, stupid idea. And everybody's ideas, yours, all the listeners, and mine, are crappy and stupid until we can prove they aren't with real numbers. So you can come up with some idea nobody's ever heard of, and then you go see nobody is looking for this. So the problem is there's two things that could be happening. One is you thought up something nobody ever dreamed of, and you just hit the lottery because you're the only one, right?
Yep.
That's probably not how it's going to work out. It's going to
Yeah.
work out at the reason you're the only one
Yeah.
is because nobody else could make any money there, and they
Yeah.
all went out of business. All right.
You're the only one
Right.
surviving on the island.
So as soon as you get an idea, you must learn keyword research. And you go to these tools and they'll tell you how many people are looking for this per month and how many different ways they're typing it in. And I'll give you an example. We did a book one time on wedding receptions.
Yes.
How many keywords and keyword phrases? A keyword is not just one word. It's usually a couple words or a whole phrase.
Yeah.
How many do you think, Gideon, that has something to do with wedding receptions? You're a married man.
I would say in thousands and thousands.
You're right.
Yeah.
We ended up when we quit with 6,300 words and keyword phrases. And when you think about it, just think about the wedding cake. You got wedding cake icing, wedding cake bakeries, wedding cake accessories, transporting wedding cakes.
There you go.
See, all of these things
associated.
Yeah, and a wedding cake has something to do with a wedding reception.
Yes, indeed.
So your job is to find all the terms that prove that somebody might be interested in your product before you develop the product.
Okay. We
want to know where the demand is. See, and when you can't find any demand, it's very risky for you to try to make the product because like for instance, tennis. I have a crazy site called Fatso Tennis. It's for fat people that love tennis, like me. All right. And
fat and wealthy people.
Yeah. So the thing is if you ever come to my house for a retreat, we have this retreat center here. You'll see a 6-foot banquet table, 3 feet high with tennis videos because I'm a tennis nut. But the thing is a lot of people say, well, there's so many tennis things out there, I shouldn't jump in that. It's saturated. No, that means there's a demand
for it.
And the people like me that buy everything they can on the topic. If you come up with a tennis video, Gideon, I'm going to buy.
Wow.
Could be terrible. And it could say the same thing as 30 other videos I have. I'm still going to buy it. See?
Because you're obsession for it. Yeah.
And I'm looking for that one little trick that I can beat people with. See? So it's very difficult to jump into something that there's nothing never been done. You can do it, but it costs enormous amounts of money, enormous amounts of advertising and publicity that you have to generate just to get the idea. And yes, there's examples of this, like the Frisbee and the old what was that thing? The Pet Rock, long time ago. But that's weird. You can't build a business on the things that might accidentally happen. So keyword research is the number one thing I do before I roll out an idea.
Wow, that is interesting because I remember in your session in Singapore 2004, or was it 2005, you talked about keyword research. And so this has been a core part of your business. Back then, I think it was Etofinity or something of that nature. It's probably long gone. It's deceased now and it's gone, it's dead. But new tools have come along like Google Trends and so on and so forth. So many people profess to be internet millionaires. Is it true that there are as many as they claim to be? Because we know from our research that you are a true internet millionaire, one of the first, and you've stayed on top for a long, long time. So is it still reality?
Well, here's the thing. I'm a multimillionaire. So I passed millionaire a long time ago. All right, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
All right. But here's the thing you have to worry about with numbers that you see on the internet is, for instance, let's say someone wasn't a total ripoff, but they manipulate figures for you. So they say, we sold this product and we made $250,000 in the last 6 weeks. All right. And that might be true. Maybe they sold $250,000 in the past 6 weeks. However, maybe they spent half of that, $125,000 or more, to pay affiliates. So now they're down to netting 125,000.
I see.
And then maybe they spent 150,000 on ads and lost $25,000.
So
And they're going to make it up selling it to you.
Yeah. And so it sounds like it's real.
Yeah, it was real. Yeah. They made $250,000, but they didn't tell you the other side of it.
The cost of the business.
So yes, there are people out there doing it. There's young people that have no brains whatsoever, and they're cute in a bikini or something, and they get millions and millions of views. Even some of them, just because they get millions and millions of views, don't necessarily make much money, because the brands that used to pay these influencers are not getting a return on their investment. So they're backing off on the money that they're giving these people. And now there's still influencers out there for sure. But what you have to do is if they have 1 million followers, every time they post, the 1 million followers doesn't mean anything. Yeah. What means something is how many people engage with their content
and view it. Yeah. Okay.
If they have 1 million followers, they put a piece of content and it gets 20 likes, it's all the followers are fake. See?
Okay.
And they're worthless because they don't do anything. So you don't want to invest any money with those kinds of people. See? So yeah, there's legitimate people out there, but that's harder and harder to find them. That's for sure. I tell people, just Google my name and then pack yourself a lunch, because you're going to be there for a while.
Spend some time. Are there still some of those with whom you started that are still in the game? Because it has taken a lot of adaptability for you to stay in the game and stay on top. Do you still know some of those?
Yeah, I still do. The problem I have with a lot of the guys that were there from the beginning is they created and this isn't written down. This is just because I know they created what they call a syndicate. So it's good to collaborate with people, but if you're terrible and I'm good and I promote you, you're going to drag me down. See?
Yep.
I might benefit from you promoting me because I know I'm going to treat people right and not, rip them off.
Yep.
So what they did is, a lot of these people, and they're brilliant people. It's not that they're not good marketers. It's just that they got together and they made like a pact. I'm going to promote your stuff. You promote mine. We'll promote this guy's. They'll promote ours, no matter what it is, no matter how bad it is, no matter whatever. So I have to stay away from. I mean, I could be way richer if I'd have got in with these people, but I sleep at night. I came from a small town where your handshake meant something, and my dad would be rolling in his grave if I would do that kind of stuff. So that's the deal. Yeah, they're out there. Some of them are still around. Some of them are dead. I don't know.
Maybe they died of heart attack.
I don't know. Okay. I mean, but there's people out there, you'd know their name, that are convicted felons.
Yeah.
They've had their assets frozen for fraud.
Yeah.
And they're out there promoting like they're the best thing in the earth. People don't know any better. That's my problem. I know too much.
No, I think I'll be coming to your consumer advocacy perspectives very soon, because I
actually have that show in development in Hollywood called Scam Brigade, where you can see the trailer of it at scambrigade.com, where I go after these bad people. Yeah. So
I hope you go after some of those that are making everyone from Africa look bad because of Nigerian internet scammers. They call them Section 419. I hope you go after those ones too, because they make other people look bad, and 1.2 billion people are suffering. So, but I really want us to come to that in a second. Don, please tell us about where you grew up, because you said you grew up in a small town. Is it something? Is it in the water that you drank there? Is it in the DNA?
Well, no.
How is it that you're a consummate marketer at heart, or business person, regardless of?
My dad came from Syria on a cattle boat back in the early 1900s. And he was head of household at 10 years old. And he saved up money from shining shoes to buy correspondence courses from the American school back in the 1800s. They started, and he became an electrician at 13 years old.
What?
He put the first electric light bulb in Carnegie, Pennsylvania, outside of Pittsburgh.
Wow.
And then and he had his own electrical contracting firm at 13 years old. And then as he grew up and had a family, he didn't want them living in the rotten, very, very dangerous in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in those days. And so he took any money he had, he bought a bulldozer and enough diesel fuel, and he bought some land about 60 miles out, which I still own to this day. And he made a truck stop and cottages and a business. And so all I knew since I'm little is entrepreneurship, right?
I see.
So that's what got the bug in my ear. And then I did all entrepreneurial things. I sold my first automobile when I was 15 years old, and I didn't even drive yet. So
how did you transact that? I have no idea.
Yeah. So anyway, so it's always been entrepreneurial, and I don't take direction very well from people. There's a thing called nepotism, where somebody in a company just got there because their dad owns it and he's an idiot, and I have to listen to him. That doesn't work for me. So I had to make my own way, and then I started buying real estate with no money down when I was 17, 18 years old. And there was no such thing as no money down in those days. But I read a book, and I tried it, and it worked, and I did it again, and I did it again. By the time I graduated college, I owned 5 apartment buildings and a hotel.
Oh, my goodness. Most guys, at the time they finish college, they're still they're desperate to have a keys to have a first date. You own apartments and a hotel. That is incredible.
So there's a little lesson there, especially with the hotel. This is a good lesson for everybody out there. So I was charging more to the students I was renting to than what I was paying in rent. So I rented. And so I rented from this guy, and every time he would come over to the house, I would say, "Hey, Frank, you're putting gutters on. I'll help you do it, but you teach me how, what we're doing here, see? Or we're putting a screen door on, or whatever it was." And so at the end of the semester, he came to me and he says, "Hey, Tom, I want to talk to you." And I'm thinking, uh-oh, what did I do? He says, "I've been renting apartments to students in this town for 25 years. He said, not once ever has any student offered to help me do anything, let alone try to learn something. And so he says, I own a hotel about 20 minutes from here, and I want to retire and go to Florida. He says, if you can come up with the first mortgage, I'll hold back the second mortgage, which means no money down. All right? I'll teach you how to run it. And you pay off me in the first mortgage from the rents and send them to me in Florida. So I went, so that's the first thing, is give before you get. That's the first lesson here.
Okay. Give before
I
you
gave
get.
and I showed myself as a learner and an ambitious person that wants to do good things, which is kind of foreign nowadays with the young people. And then the second thing was what my dad taught me: don't quit, be persistent. And so it took me 50 tries at lending institutions to get the first mortgage. They kept shooing me away like, oh, you little kid, you have a little apartment, but that's nothing like a hotel. Get out of here. And I wouldn't quit. So I got a 50th place, got the first mortgage. He held back the second mortgage. I paid them all off. I only had to go once a week and make repairs, and there was a manager there. And so, and then eventually the city bought the place out for several $100,000. And so I was on my way to being a millionaire before I was 25 years old. See?
Wow.
And then I got the bright idea to buy a nightclub, and that was a crazy, I was in gunfights and knife fights. That's why I carry a gun all the time now. I've been.
Yeah, I've been to your retreat center. I think
Yeah.
the first few times I came, you're totally cool. But then one of the time I came, you with a gun. I'm like, oh my god, doesn't
Yeah.
look like the same Tom. Who is
I
this now?
always, I always had the gun on. You just didn't know it.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
called concealed carry.
I didn't know whether to. No, I mean I was very comfortable around you, but it was like I thought maybe someone had pissed you off or someone had said something nasty. You're like,
No, they didn't piss me off. They just tried to kill me, like for 7 years straight.
oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
yeah,
Oh my
because I took over a biker bar and they didn't and cleaned it up, and they didn't like that. So
goodness.
anyway, but then I got into professional speaking, and I had a practical joke business. It was like Candid Camera. In Washington, D.C., we did 4,000 practical jokes, and I got into the speaking and comic business. And then the internet came along, and that's where it is. But so anyway, that's where I came up from. But I definitely want to give people some of these tips that we promised them on
Yes.
how
In
they
fact,
can do stuff. So
that's right now.
all right. So here's the first thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you how to create an online income generator in less than an hour. Okay. Now you do have to learn how to use a little piece of software, and I'm not going to. I'll give you examples of the software because some's expensive, some is free, whatever. But it's called screen capture video.
Okay.
This is where you can record anything that's on your computer screen, and you can narrate what people are seeing on the screen, and they can see your mouse moving and all that stuff. So, let's see, what is it? Camtasia is the gold standard, but it's $300 or something. All right.
Yeah.
But you have ScreenFlow and you have some other ones. So, but you just want to type in screen capture video and see what's right for you and your price range and whatever.
Yeah.
Then you have to find what we call an affiliate program. That's where some other person has created a product. This is totally legit. This isn't like multi-level marketing. All right. This is just the way a lot of stuff works. And so you find a product that you like. And if it's something you can demonstrate online, like a piece of software, something like that, or an online service like my shopping cart system, something that you can sell, not a physical product so much.
Okay.
And then you teach people how to use it, and you show them how good it is and what it could do for them. And you're recording this on the screen, and you're making a video out of it. And you take the video, you upload it to YouTube, and then you have a special link in your description called an affiliate link that if somebody clicks on it and they go buy that software or service or whatever, you get a commission. It's usually with digital stuff, 50% or more. And I have one thing that I did that for that's brought in 3.9, as of this morning, $3.92 million over the years. And they run it. It's I don't have to service the customer, do nothing. I just tell people about it, either by video or an ebook. You can tell them about it. And then when they click on it, that's comes to me. And when you divide that out, that's roughly that one thing is average of $243,000 a year, my share. Okay.
That is insane.
See, and that's, I mean, that's an exceptional one. All right. But lots of little ones bring in a couple $100 a month here and there, and I don't lift a finger. All right. Because the YouTube videos just keep showing people how to use it. And they click the link and they go buy it, and I get a commission. So that's so once you learn to use that software, the other thing is just finding different products to promote. And there's places like JV Zoo and ClickBank that have thousands of these products that you can pick from. See? So there's how to create an online income generator in an hour or less. Each one of them takes you less than an hour once you get the software.
That is a powerful, like a mic drop moment there. You just lifted up the pain from someone's shoulders who is willing and hungry to go get something. So find a screen captures program that you're comfortable with and then look for a tool that you can illustrate. If you have competency over that, put it on YouTube, find affiliates, boom, you can launch it and watch for something positive to happen with your bank account.
I'm not even warmed up yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I thought that was already.
All right.
That's a
No,
very
that's
good
just,
one. Okay.
that's just one. All right.
Okay.
So here's some ones that you don't need a website for. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So one is a paid private Facebook group. So Facebook and Meta has to provide all the infrastructure for you.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is, and if you don't have a full-blown merchant account like for American Express and everything, just PayPal is the place to start.
Yeah.
So for nothing, you can have a paid thing. Now you have to have something that people want, right?
Yes, something of value.
It has to be something special,
Yeah.
but you don't have to have a website for it because Facebook does it all.
Yeah.
Okay. Next thing is you can create an ebook like I did, like I just told you, it's brought in millions of dollars, the YouTube and the ebook together. So you can create an ebook and on a topic that teaches somebody how to do something, but they can't do it unless they get the tool that you're talking about in the book. Now, a long time ago, I had a really gigantic internet marketing ebook, but it had 700 affiliate links in. It was a 1,000-page book. Now I break it down into much smaller. This was a while back when people would pay attention to stuff longer. But it made way more money. The book sold for $97, but it made way more money on all those affiliate links. And they were all on different things, so keyword tools and shopping carts and blog software and, email stuff and, all these things that you need for internet marketing. And so that made money. And you say, well, yeah, Tom, but you still have to have a way to display the ebook on your website, right?
Yes.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
How come?
All right. So here's another good trick for everybody, or technique, is you find other marketers that are way ahead of you, and you offer your ebook as a bonus they can give away when they sell their product. And everybody that sells products usually offers bonuses, right? Well, they don't always create their own bonus. You give them a bonus that once somebody buys from them, and they might be 100 times bigger than you or 1,000 times bigger than you, but they still need bonuses to give away.
Yep.
And so you can even make, if you have a product, you can even make them an affiliate. So if somebody clicks on a link in the ebook that they give away as a bonus, they get paid for that. All right. And you make a sale. So you don't have to have a website. You still, it goes to PayPal or something.
Yeah.
All right.
As long as you're making money, it's still coming from online, but you don't need a domain name.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Next thing is Kindle. Now, Kindle ebooks, that's the Amazon's version of an ebook, right?
Yeah.
Barnes and Nobles has Nook and Apple has one. They're worthless. Kindle is the big kahuna. It's the big gorilla. All right. Yeah. Don't waste your time on anything else. So a Kindle book, you can take the same information in your PDF book and put it on Amazon Kindle, except you have to have one little piece of different software to do this. And that's called cloaking software. See, because affiliate links are these long, humongous links that have numbers and letters and all kinds of crazy stuff. Amazon Kindle won't accept your book with that crazy looking link.
Okay.
So with my books, my podcast is screwthecommute.com. So if I was promoting your new book, what's the title of it?
Science of Storytelling.
Science of Storytelling. I'd have a link that said screwthecommute.com/silence of storytelling. But underneath that, when they actually clicked on it, it would be this humongous affiliate link that you gave me. So if somebody bought it, it would track to me. See?
Okay. Okay.
But the link doesn't look like an affiliate link. It looks like a standard link. And so
Okay.
your Kindle book gets approved. All right.
I see. I see.
So, but they have 200 million people a day coming in, just in the US, so this is one of the best things for small business people because everybody trusts Amazon and it's got enormous traffic and it's free to do this. They even give you the software to convert a Word document to their format Kindle.
Yes. Yes.
And you can make free covers on Canva and free ebook covers everywhere. Yeah. So one of the best things. All right. Now I'm starting to get warmed up a little bit. All right.
Okay.
All right.
That is already quite a bit. And for all the viewers out there, I know you'll be curious. Who is Tom Antion? Just go Google that name and you're going to see there's a ton. As he said, grab some lunch if you want to sit down and read. But let's space this up a little bit. Your book on communication is a bestseller. I have a copy. I've consumed a lot of your information, and this is so good. You wrote it so many years ago, and yet it looks so contemporary. Whenever I'm hosting a show, I go look through it. There are so many ways that I can draw some ideas from there to get people laughing, get people cheered up. So it is clear that maybe, Tom, you don't say this, but you were a member of Mensa. That is some of the smartest people in the world. Is it because of Mensa?
No, I'm not a member of Mensa. No, I'm not smart enough to be in Mensa. I'm just I grew up with common sense. Common sensa. How about that instead of
common sense? Common sense, yeah. Because you've done so many different things, and you still remain so very approachable, very cordial, very easy to get along with. So surely that's something that people can learn. That
anything to avoid working for a living.
to avoid the commute. Talk to us about when you get into the podcast game. There were already podcasts around, and I was scratching my head like, I don't know where Tom is going in, but I have to pay attention because if he goes into something, there's goal in it. Talk about the thinking behind that. Was it driven by keyword search? Was it driven by just I want to create my own community or what?
Well, a couple things. First of all, I was always against podcasts in the early days of podcasting because it was just people wanting to hear themselves talk and thinking they're radio hosts, and nobody was listening and nobody was making any money.
Okay.
Until I don't know how many years ago it was, 6, 7 years ago, the automobile industry started putting podcast availability in the dashboards of new cars. There's billions and billions of new listeners there, and it's free compared to Sirius and XM radio. So when I saw that amount of new potential listeners that are stuck in traffic, not screwing the commute, I thought this is good. And then let's jump a little bit further.
Yes.
The Amazon Alexa devices in the home and the Google, what do they call the Google one? I forget. Google Assistant, I think.
Okay.
So there's 4 or 5 more billions. Some people have 2 or 3 of them all around their house. So when I saw that amount of new people, which new ways to listen to stuff, I thought this is a good time to jump in. Plus, people were starting to make money. I wouldn't have done it just for listeners, but mine has brought in a couple $1 million over the years, and I one of the big mistakes podcasters make is they try to go for sponsorship.
Yeah.
Well, here's the cold hard truth about that. A sponsor pays between $12 and $18 per 1,000 downloads per episode. It's hard to get 1,000 downloads. You might go 6 months a year to get per episode that download. So then the 90% of the podcasts quit after 10 episodes.
Wow.
We're at 960 because I was the sponsor, my own sponsor. So you never hear me promoting other people's stuff. I mean, unless it's an affiliate link, but I promote my school. I have the only licensed dedicated internet and digital marketing school in the country. I have my mentor program, the big the big program where it's a year long, all that stuff.
Mhm.
And so I don't have to sell that many things to make
Mm.
way more than a sponsor would ever pay. Even just selling one of my ebooks for $27 is more than a sponsor would pay for 1,000 downloads. See, so that's how I got into podcasting. Enormous new listenership is growing. People are
Yeah.
making money if they're doing it correctly.
Yes. And so your podcast has been profitable so far, but you are
Couple
the
million
main
dollars.
sponsor. Have other sponsors come to you begging to probably
Yes, but I
have
don't. I got tired. I don't even answer it anymore. I mean, people say, "How? What? Can we do this, that, and the other?" No, but because first of all, I would have to make sure they're really reputable, so it doesn't hurt my reputation.
Mhm.
And then the second thing is, it can't possibly be as good as what I can. I mean, my school tuition is $19,000. Nobody's going to come and pay that. I mean, I'm not Joe Rogan. I mean, yeah, they might pay him something, but not me. And then my mentor program is $9,000 entry fee and $50,000 out of their profits on the back end.
Mhm.
You know, so no, I'm not interested at all to have, and then again, like I said, I have to make sure they're really reputable. So it's just too much trouble. Why should I bother?
So I'm still not clear. So how then does it make money? Or is it just because your other businesses pump money into it or sponsor or
No,
promote?
people hear me and believe
I
me and
see.
like to know me, and then they join my mentor program or
I
join my
see.
school or
I see.
buy ebooks or
I see. I
courses or
see.
stuff like that.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
basically an advertising mechanism that doesn't sound like an ad because it's a lot of content to it.
Exactly. So it's still primarily audio.
Yeah,
Not
mine is only audio. So,
you've not gone YouTube based because
well, I have a new one that's in development. It's called Highly Educated Idiots. Yeah,
maybe I
and
could benefit from that.
so it's going to be a little bit different than entrepreneurship. It's all the stuff that goes on where they're wasting our money and all this stuff. So I'm going to call people out for doing stupid things. Yeah, that could end up with sponsorship because I don't have any products about idiots
Okay.
yet.
All right. Should we go back? You want to drop another
Yeah.
company one that we can?
So another one is making online courses, which is all the rage nowadays because AI will help you create them. With AI, here's the thing. You use it strategically a little bit, but it's never it doesn't replace your brain and your creativity and stuff.
Absolutely true. Yes.
And everybody will have the same thing. But anyway, it can help you if you learn how to use it. But these online courses, you can go to Teachable, Thinkific, Udemy, and sell online courses where, again, they have all the technology. They deliver the course, collect the money, all of this stuff, and just send you a check. So that's another one is online courses on all kinds of stuff.
So all you have to do is sit there and record it and let them take charge of selling, and then you make some money in the back
Well,
end.
you still have to promote it. I mean, they put it on their site. You still have to tell people about it, but you don't have any of the technology stuff at all.
Exactly.
Okay, another thing is like we're on StreamYard right now, but a lot of people have Zoom.
Yeah.
They're doing all kinds of trainings on Zoom. You could put an ad in Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, those kinds of places, and sell training for stuff that you're good at. What if you're just bilingual?
Yep.
You could sell it for $50 an hour for a session and sit in your home, and people will, you could be teaching people anywhere in the world some skill that you have. They're doing music lessons. You know what else they're doing, Gideon? Dog training.
Dog training. Oh my God. And you're very big with dogs. So
I
dog
love
training.
dogs, yeah.
But do you hire guys to do dog training programs and then you sell them, or?
Well, no, I have. We'd have a protection dog company, which is bite you if you attack me and all that kind of stuff. But I hire professional trainers because that's a really important skill, so that it doesn't bite the neighbor.
Or the neighbor's children,
or the neighbor's children,
or their wife. Then they take the rage on you. So,
well, they wouldn't just bite the children; they would eat the children.
No,
But
for breakfast.
the neighbor's too big to eat in one sitting. But anyway, no, I hire trainers for that.
Okay.
But I own the company, and these dogs start at $20,000 and go up to about 60,000.
Wow.
So, and I take a commission for selling online, and then they do the training and the delivery of the dog. See, so,
Wow.
but anyway,
Mm.
the anything that you can do that and don't think that you got to be a 20-year-old expert on or 20-year expert on something.
Yeah.
If you're good at something and you know more than I do, I pay people all the time to do stuff. You know what I mean? I paid a guy recently. I want to up the audio quality I got from this podcast system. So I paid a guy, and he's telling me what to buy and what to do. And I never laid eyes on him, never met him, but he got money from me to teach me something. See? And places like Fiverr, FIVERR.com. It's not just $5 anymore to do it. It used to be people around the world would tell you what they do for $5. Some of the things are $100, a couple $100. You got 99 Designs, which is another graphic place where you can bid on jobs and get hundreds of dollars. I know we paid $300-400 for logo and some graphics for the school. So all those kinds of things are ways you can do it without a website. And the other big thing I like to tell people about is if you are willing to make a website, you can make your hobbies legitimately tax deductible.
Okay.
So that's where tennis came about. I'm a tennis nut, and so all my tennis rackets, my tennis court maintenance, my travel to interview tennis coaches, all of that's tax deductible because I have this product. I happen to have a product on tennis, but it could be affiliate product. As long as you're making money from the website, all of that stuff becomes tax deductible as long as you're reasonable. You can't buy a Learjet and say, I'm taking $8 million off and I just sold a $2 CD. You know?
That's right. Yeah.
But that's making your hobbies tax deductible. And you get so many, especially in the US. I'm not familiar with laws around the world, but any developed country, you get, I mean, if you take in 1,000 and your expenses are 500, you only made 500.
That makes sense.
But
It's
these
reasonable.
expenses can be things part of your car, your insurance, your, all kinds of deductions that are totally legitimate.
As long as, do you have a business registered based on your hobby that is separate from your business? Or
no, I just have different websites all under the umbrella of my internet marketing business.
I see.
But you could be on Fatso Tennis and never know anything about great internet marketing training or Protection Dogs Elite. But if you give me money, it just goes into the same checking account. So it's not a bunch of accounting where I have to have different
books,
shopping carts and books for all the different ones. No,
I see. Wow, that's brilliant. I didn't even think about it that way. But one thing I want to touch on before we close is the newsletter. You are one of the first people that I know that has had a newsletter that is probably the largest in the industry.
Yeah.
At one point it was 100K. I don't know. Is it still growing, or you kind of like stop it there?
It's about 80 to 90,000 now. It used to be as high as 150,000, but that was earlier in the day before there was enormous competition and people getting buried with emails. They can't take it any longer. So it's called Great Speaking. And so I give speaking tips and I announce things that I'm going to be doing. And I give, I use solo mailings to promote things. Every once in a while, I say, okay, here's the latest podcasts, the most popular podcasts from the last month. And then I'll have the links in there. So it helps the podcast out. You want to use multi ways to reach people, so people that aren't on the podcast and they just got on the email list may not know about the podcast. So then they get an episode on how to save money renting cars. They say, oh man, this is great. And then they can subscribe to the podcast. So you work them together. Those kinds
I see. And you also develop an interest for consumer advocacy, advocating for the little guys that
Right.
do not have a good understanding of what's going on behind the
Right.
code, the coding on the web, on the web, what is the dark web. And you really took some strong positions at some point. I saw you fighting with some big names. I want to talk about your instincts for fighting the bad guys, especially when it comes to online proliferation of all kinds of garbage.
Well, the way this started was, I mean, I knew that these people were out there doing bad things. All right, I kind of knew it, but um, I had a guy come to me that he had a speaking related product, and it was really good. And I was known as the number one guy in the world on professional level speaking, and I had a big audience for it.
Mhm.
So, and he treated me great. He seemed like totally wonderful and very respectful. And so I promoted this guy, and then promoted him.
You grew
And
big.
then, yeah, and then he grew big, and
Mhm.
I kind of put him on the map.
Mhm.
And then I started getting reports that he was robbing people anywhere from $13,000 to $100,000. People losing their homes and stuff. And so I exposed him, went after him. He threatened to sue me, and I said, "Bring it on," because that puts it even more out in the public eye.
Yeah.
I talked to the FBI about him. They're watching him, So, but then I started getting known for this, and then I couldn't get my own work done because they say, "Well, what about this guy? What about this lady? What about this lady?" So that's when I pitched a TV show, which is, like I said, it's in development, called Scam Brigade. You can see the trailer at scambrigade.com, and I became kind of a consumer advocate, because like I said, from my small town upbringing, you don't do this to people, So,
Yep, yep. So that part of your business, I mean, it's not a business. You're no longer putting in so much effort into that area. But hopefully the TV show
if the TV
would
shows, then I'll save a lot of people. Do you know the 120,000 people last year lost their home from the Jamaican lottery scam?
oh my
Older
God.
people, old
Oh
people,
my goodness. Oh my
that's
God.
just the not even the tip of the
Thing.
iceberg,
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
yeah, a millimeter on top of an iceberg,
yeah.
say. So I want to expose all that, and they'll save a lot of people, just as a
Yes.
benevolent thing. I
Yes.
don't care if I make much money or make any money on it.
Yeah. Ooh, and then that's Jamaica. We've not talked about Nigerian scammers online who promise people they call them Nigerian princes.
Yeah, no, Nigerian
And
Prince. Yeah.
yeah, they've been around, and I hear it's an industry there.
Oh yeah,
It's an
a lot of
industry
these
that
companies, a lot of these countries wouldn't exist if it wasn't for this. But you
uh,
got
I
well,
wouldn't necessarily agree with that, but I mean, it's almost that there are other industries, but there's also that with a concentration of intelligent minds that are just sending out messed up messages, trying to take advantage of people. So I think I would want to pitch to you someday, busting the 419 brigade, because that's the name that is known out there, because it's given a bad name to all of us. Just
yeah,
like
you're right.
the guy that you mentored, he grew up and then started to make a bad name for you and others. I also have an interest in making sure that the people that work hard for my part of the world, who have an interesting accent, an exotic accent, have a fair chance. Nobody should block the door for them because they think that, oh, the other bad guy, you look at the other bad guy.
Yeah,
That certainly doesn't
yeah,
help
you're right.
nobody
I
at all.
mean, I showed it right there. Is that
Yeah.
all I know is that bad part of the country,
Mhm.
Nigeria, Jamaica. Uh, all I know is somebody is driving around with a brand new Mercedes that's has no job,
Yeah.
and it came from some old person losing their home.
Yet there are millions of others that work hard, that succeed by doing it right.
Yeah,
Now
but
I'm
there's
all
a perfect example. I don't see those people because all those bad people are standing in front of those countries.
exactly.
Mhm.
They mess up the image of the others. So is there any other big drop you want to drop here, or we can start wrapping it up? Because I have some
We yeah,
rapid fire questions.
I think I need to get going here.
Do you have a minute?
Yes, sir, sure.
So if we say, Tom, what's your superpower? What would you say it is?
Persistence. and consistency.
Mm.
People see, like this interview, all this great stuff I've done. Yeah, whoop-de-doo, but they don't see all the
The work.
the losers, that you
Okay.
have to be able to get through to get
Yeah.
to the winners.
Yes.
For instance, I had this book called on eulogies, and everything was failing on it. I tried for months to get it to sell, and I was about ready to quit, but I hear my dad in my head, "Don't quit, don't quit." And something kicked, and it sold $42,000 a year for 9 years straight.
Hmm.
All right, so an ebook that cost me
On,
$15 to create, so
on eulogy.
yeah,
And
on
it was
eulogy.
just basically hosted online and sold with affiliates and all of that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so persistence and consistency, and then be fair. I was thinking about doing a movie called Fair, uh, where if somebody's not fair, you kill them. It's a movie.
That would be very cruel.
Yeah, but
Be,
people would start being fair.
there will be very few people left.
Anybody left would be fair.
Must be good. Okay, last one. What's your claim to fame?
Claim to fame. I would say the best thing I ever did in my life was I auctioned myself off one time at a big event, and I raised the $78,000 in about 5 minutes and that fed 288 starving homeless children for a year.
Wow.
So to me, that's the best thing I ever did. Yeah.
Someone auctioned themselves off. I think I know you're rushing for time. Maybe we can ask that next time when you come, because
Okay.
I don't know how you can auction
It
yourself off.
it wasn't a sexual thing, I can assure you.
No, you're a man of high ethical values. I don't think
No,
you go into
I'm
that
just too
direction.
fat that then nobody would pay for
No, I don't believe that.
too fat and ugly.
Thank you so much, Tom. There's a question I usually ask about psychogeometrics, but I don't think we have the time. So I just want to thank you for making the time, for coming in and bringing so much goods. You deliver the goods, and those who are viewing, they should know this is one of the best episodes of the Story Warrior podcast. Thank you so much, Tom, the internet guru.
All right. See you later.
See you soon. Bye.